Tell me if this sounds familiar. Your child has a desk in their room. Maybe you bought it specifically for homework. It has everything they need: pencils, notebooks, good lighting, perfectly set up. And every single night, they end up doing homework at the kitchen table, surrounded by noise, a sibling asking for a snack, or whatever is in the background. And somehow, that's when they do their best work. Today, we're going to talk about why and what it actually tells us about how our children learn. Because the environment your child learns in matters far more than most parents realize, and it has almost nothing to do with the furniture. Welcome back to Raising Scholars. I'm Jacquie Langworthy, educator, learning center owner, and a mom who raised two confident, independent scholars. We are deep into season 2, and we're building something together week by week. Last week, we opened the season with the Raise Scholar Framework, the 5 pillars that everything on this show comes back to. If you haven't heard that episode yet, go back and start there. It's episode 1, and it will give you the full picture. Today, we're living inside 2 of those pillars: R, regulation before rigor, and S, systems beat willpower. Through the lens of something that affects your child every single day, your home learning environment, not just the physical space, the emotional one, the energy in the room, the feeling your child has when they sit down to do the work. That's what we're talking about today. Here's the first thing I want to challenge: the idea environment means setup. Most parents, when they think about their child's learning environment, they think about the physical space, the desk, the chair, the organization, the lighting, and those things matter, but they're not what makes the biggest difference. And I know this firsthand. Both of my kids had dedicated study spaces in their rooms, organized desks, everything they needed, set up intentionally. And you know what? They almost never used them, except for to build Legos and play with Barbies. Every night, they would come downstairs to the kitchen table and they would do their homework right there while I was cooking dinner. And what I realized over time was that it wasn't the desk that mattered. It was the kitchen. It was the energy of that space. It was being near me. It was the sound of something familiar happening in the background. It was all of us laboring together. Them at their work, me at mine. Nobody hovering, nobody managing, just everyone in the same space doing what needed to get done. And that's the A pillar, autonomy, happening naturally. They were doing the work themselves. And the R pillar, regulation, was working too. The space felt safe, it felt calm, it felt like home. Environment is sensory, emotional, and relational. It's the energy a child walks into. It's whether the space feels safe or stressful, predictable or chaotic. The real question isn't, does my child have a good desk? The real question is, does my child feel ready to learn when they sit down? The best study space isn't the most organized one. It's the one where your child feels ready to learn. So, what actually makes an environment work for learning? Let me give you 4 specific elements. Think about your own home as I walk through each one. First, consistency. Same time, same place. The brain is a pattern recognition machine. When learning happens at the same time, in the same place, with the same rhythm, the brain starts to prepare for it automatically. This is the S pillar: systems beat willpower. You're not just building a routine, you're building a brain trigger. Over time, sitting down at that spot at that time begins to signal to your child's nervous system: this is when we learn. This is what we do now. It doesn't have to be a special room. It doesn't have to be a desk. It just has to be consistent. You're not just building a routine, you're building a trigger. Number 2, low stimulation. less is more. Every distraction your child navigates during homework is energy they're not spending on learning. Screens, phone notifications, siblings at full volume. You don't need silence. Some children actually do better with soft music in the background or white noise, something low and consistent. What doesn't work is unpredictable competing stimulation. TV in the background, their phone face up on the desk, a sibling playing a loud video game nearby. These are not natural. They're actively pulling work memory away from the task. Think about trying to focus at work while someone nearby is having a conversation you can have here. You're not fully in either place. Your brain is doing double duty, trying to decipher that conversation, trying to tune it out, and trying to stay focused on what's in front of you all at the same time. Something has to give, and it's almost always the focus. That's exactly what's happening for your child when the environment around them is competing for their attention. Every distraction your child navigates is energy they're not spending on learning. 3, emotional safety, the feeling in the room. This is the R pillar, regulation before rigor, and it might be the most important element on this list. If homework time feels like a battleground, the environment is already working against you, even if the space looks perfect. If your child associates sitting down with tension, frustration, or pressure, their nervous system is activated before they've written a single word. The emotional temperature of the room matters as much as the physical setup. And here's the part that surprises parents. You are a part of that emotional environment. Your energy, whether you walk in calm or stressed, patient or pressured, is something your child registers before you say a single word, before homework even opens. A parent who sits nearby with calm, present energy is a more powerful learning tool than any desk organizer. Your presence and your energy is part of the environment. 4, ownership. Let your child have a say. Children are more likely to use and respect a space they help to create. Let them choose where they sit, within reason. Let them decide what supplies they keep nearby. Ask them what kind of background sounds helps them focus. These aren't huge decisions, but they're real ones. Small choices build big ownership. And when a child owns the space, they own what happens in it. Before I go any further, I want to say something clearly. Most families don't have a dedicated study room, and that's completely fine. Small apartments, shared bedrooms, open floor plans, a kitchen table that has to be cleared before every meal, all of these can work. All of these have worked. The goal is not a perfect space. The goal is a predictable one. And here's what that looks like in practice. Designate one specific spot, even if it's just one end of the kitchen table, and protect it. That is always the homework spot. Not sometimes, always. That's consistency. That consistency is what builds the brain trigger we talked about. Use a visual clue to signal it's time. A specific placemat that comes out, a small lamp that goes on, a supply kit that moves from a shelf to the table. These small rituals do something powerful. They signal the brain. We're transitioning. We're switching gears now. And this brings me to something I cannot stress enough. This is important, and I need every parent to hear it. Give your child a transition buffer after school. 20 to 30 minutes, maybe even a little longer, right before homework starts. Let them decompress. Let the nervous system settle. Let them just be a kid for a few minutes. It isn't wasted time. It's an investment in the homework session that follows. A snack at the table, 10 quiet minutes with no agenda, a specific song that signals the shift, something they choose, something that feels like it's theirs. These small moments of transition are not optional extras. They're the on-ramp. They are what makes the work block actually work. And here's what I love about this. The transition ritual can be the same ritual we talked about in element 4, ownership. When your child chooses the song, chooses the snack spot, chooses how they unwind, they're already beginning to own the routine before it's even started. Finally, agree on the ground rules together in advance, not in the moment when everyone's tired and emotions are running high. Have that conversation on a Sunday, which brings me to something I want to share with you in just a moment. When expectations are set in advance and set together, they stop being reminders, they become agreements. Remember, you don't need a perfect space, you need a consistent one. I want to ask you something. When your child sits down to do homework tonight, what is the energy in that room going to feel like? Not the furniture, the feeling. Is it rushed, tense? Is there background noise pulling at everyone's attention? Or is it calm, predictable, safe? That's the environment that matters most. And the good news is you have more control over it than you think. I want to come back to something because I think it deserves its own movement. You're not just setting up the environment, you are a part of it. Your anxiety about homework becomes their anxiety. Your calm becomes their calm. The way you walk into that homework session, whether you're rushed, frustrated, patient, or present, sets the emotional temperature before anything else does. And I know that's a lot because most of us arrive at homework time already carrying a full day. Work, logistics, traffic, everything still on the to-do list after the kids are in bed. And I'll be honest with you, sometimes the thing I needed most at the end of a long day was just a few quiet minutes in my car before I walked through the door, just to put the day down, to shake off the energy that didn't belong in my home. And I didn't always get that. Most parents don't. But here's what I want you to consider. While your child is in their decompression window, that 20 minutes with a snack and some downtime, that's your window too. You don't have to go sit in the car, but you could just take a breath, put the phone down, let the day settle for both of you before the work begins. Check in on your own energy before you check on their homework because they feel it. The most powerful thing in your child's learning environment isn't a desk, it's you. Before I let you go, a few things. One, hit follow or subscribe wherever you're listening. New episodes drop every week, and I want to make sure you never miss one. Speaking of which, I'm introducing something new this season called the Sunday Reset. It's a quick weekly practice to help you plan intentionally for the week ahead with one practical tip to help you build a confident, independent learner. More on that very soon, so stay close. 2. Head to raisingscholarsPodcast.com and download the free Raise Scholar Framework Guide. It's not just a one-pager. It's a full guide with the framework and practical actions you can take in your home starting this week, completely free. 3. Share this episode with one parent you know that's in the homework battle every night. Sometimes the most helpful thing isn't a new strategy. It's someone saying, here, I'm with you. Start right here. Here's your homework for this week. Look at the space where your child does their work, not to judge it, not to feel bad about it, just to notice it. What's the energy? What's the noise level? What's the emotional temperature? And ask yourself, is this space an on-ramp to learning or is it a roadblock? Just notice. Awareness is the first step. The best study space isn't the most organized one. It's the one where your child feels ready to learn. I'm Jacquie Langworthy. Thank you for being here. I'll see you next week.